NFL leader in passing touchdowns, 13 wins, 1,200 rushing yards, unanimous MVP. Back in 2019, we were living in the world of Lamar Jackson. Now, 3 seasons later, is the magic gone? Can he climb the MVP mountain once again? I think he will. In 2019, the Lamar Jackson MVP narrative was virtually flawless. He was young, exciting, and leading the Ravens to the best record in football. He was making one of the largest jumps ever by a quarterback. Each week, he was posting jaw-dropping highlights while making defenses look foolish. He was posting eye-popping fantasy numbers as well. Jackson was a star through and through. In 2020, Jackson had some of these showcase moments, such as his touchdown pass to Marquise Brown on 4th down against the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. He also had devastating touchdown runs against the Eagles and Cowboys, as well as his first playoff win over the Titans. However, he never put it together for 60 minutes. His best game of the season was likely Week 1 against Cleveland, 320 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. In 2021, Jackson regressed as a whole, but he had a magical stretch early in the season. For 3.5 games, Jackson was the best player in the NFL. He engineered comebacks to shock Kansas City and Indianapolis, both in primetime, and those were the bookends to 2 of his best games as passers in Detroit and in Denver. After his Week 5 game against Indy, Jackson was an MVP frontrunner, but he didn't throw for multiple touchdowns in a game the rest of the season. He ended the year injured, and Baltimore missed the playoffs. It was much the same in 2022. He had an excellent game in Jacksonville, but the Ravens defense folded like a lawn chair in the last few minutes. Similarly, he had a huge statistical game against Miami in Week 2, but the defense allowed 28 points in the 4th quarter. Similar to 2021, Jackson ended the season on the injury report, and Baltimore lost a playoff game in Cincinnati. He had his moments, but he missed his week-to-week excellence he had back in 2019. After over a year of contract talks, Jackson finally inked the record-breaking long-term deal we had all hoped he would sign with Baltimore. Could he feel relieved? And could he unleash a masterful 2023 season? For the 3rd time in the Lamar Jackson era, the Ravens pulled the trigger on a first-round wide receiver, nabbing Boston College star Zay Flowers. In free agency, Baltimore signed Odell Beckham, continuing the legacy of Derek Mason, Anquan Bolden, and Steve Smith as Ravens. Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews are back, and the Ravens are expecting second-year tight ends Isaiah Likely and Charlie Kolar to be bigger parts of the offense in 2023. However, the name in the mind of every Ravens fan is Todd Monken. The Greg Roman era had its ebbs and flows, but the Ravens are looking to Monken to modernize the offense and let Lamar have full control. Let him cook, if you will. They might not match their rushing production from 2019 and 2020, but Jackson seems poised to have his best production as a passer, which might be all that matters. MVP voters are human. They often vote along perceived storylines and past reputations. Sure, the MVP tends to be the best quarterback, but controlling the narrative has been the key to the last few MVP winners. Here's the current narrative surrounding Lamar Jackson. First, Jackson is injury prone. He has missed 11 starts over the last 2 seasons, including a playoff game. Second, Jackson has regressed massively. After all, he hasn't thrown for 3,000 yards since 2019, and he only has 33 passing touchdowns in his last 24 starts. Third, he's now the 2nd best quarterback in his division, and he could be passed by Deshaun Watson if Watson returns to 2020 form. Fourth, the Ravens are in a dogfight to finish 2nd in the division. They have the same over-under total as the Steelers and Browns, and they're 3 full games behind Cincinnati. Fifth, Lamar can't beat the Steelers. Let's compare those narratives to the ones he faced in the 2019 season. First, he was a running back. He can't beat you with his arm.
Lamar, you said pretty much all offseason that you were going to throw the ball. Do you think you proved to people that you were throwing the ball?
Probably not, but not bad for a running back.
He replied by leading the NFL in passing touchdowns, becoming an All-Pro, and posting an 83.0 QBR. Second, he was carried by his defense. He can't lead the Ravens to wins. Baltimore averaged over 33 points per game in 2019, leading the NFL in scoring, first downs, and points per drive. Third, well, the Ravens won't win the North again. They probably won't even make the playoffs. In 2019, the Ravens were 16th in Super Bowl odds, 3rd in the division, and 14th in over-under total. Lamar led them to 13 of their 14 wins, winning the division by 6 games and going 4-1 in the division. Jackson had the statistical production to win MVP, but his potent answers to the narratives he faced fueled the fire every week as his lead over Russell Wilson and others grew. If there is anything we know about NFL media, people hate being wrong. As soon as Jackson proved the doubters wrong, they flocked to unanimously vote for him as MVP. He can walk the same path in 2023 by addressing the narratives that currently plague him. Jackson will be a fringe MVP contender if he's healthy and the Ravens are competitive, a testament to Jackson's value to the team. He becomes a serious contender if the Ravens are the top team in the AFC North, or if he has modest improvements to his passing stats. All he might need to win the MVP is a showcase game in primetime on the road in Los Angeles, Jacksonville, or Santa Clara as the season winds to a close. As of recording, Lamar Jackson is plus 1,500 to win MVP on FanDuel. Depending on the site, he is between the 5th best and 10th best in terms of odds. I predict Lamar will win his second MVP this season. Head to the link in the description to agree or disagree and win some money. Use promo code YouTube to 8x your deposit so you can try takes on me. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.